more companies, about 42% of employers, offering summer Fridays off. That's up from 2015, when only about 22% of employers were offering this. Business and life coach Psyche Terry joining me now. Psyche, good morning.
Good morning.
All right, so explain this to me for a second. Offering Friday off, does that mean Friday off without pay? Does that mean that these people are working longer hours Monday through Thursday to make up for Friday? How exactly is this? Explain this to me.
Okay, let me take you through this mental of this employee that's waking up, maybe like you, waking up super early, checking our phones all through the day, attached to the hip with our phone. We go to bed late, we're checking our phones, we're working. And on Friday, we're working even more, but we really are kind of tired and just tapped out. That's this person that we're talking about. So no, they're not getting paid. They're getting paid, but they really kind of put in overtime all through the week anyway, where they're doing double jobs anyway.
Okay, so a lot of people you're saying are taking their work home with them, and the employers almost expect it anymore that you're going to do work at home, check emails, everything else. So it's almost like hey, I know you're putting in all this extra time, so here during the summertime, take half a day or take a Friday off.
You got it. We're probably on Amazon or on Facebook anyway. So we're saying, how about you just go to the store and pick up what it is you need to do? And it's small, menial tasks that folks are leaving work to go do. Pick up the laundry or drop off the laundry or go to the grocery store and pick up that extra bottle of whatever it is they need for their dinner that night. They're not leaving it and going to, Six Flags or some ballpark. They're just needing an extra hour or two to complete some just personal tasks that they can't get done otherwise.
All right, so if an employer is listening right now, why do you think this is a good idea? What benefit would it be to them? I mean, some people are going to be sitting there going, wait a minute, I'm losing a day of productivity.
Well, as an employer myself, I say, hear these two words and hear them clear. Employee retention.
Okay.
You're going to keep people. You're going to not just keep people, but you're going to keep happy people, and you're going to get happier people to come and work for you. I think it's something like 39% of folks now that are looking for jobs are looking for what are those benefits that you're offering. And of that 39%, I think there's 30% more saying, and are they Fridays? Because I need my Fridays. This is like a norm for folks now.
Well, if you take a look at a May survey by staffing firm Office Team, they found that, as you mentioned, 39% of workers are looking for flexible schedules this time of year. 30% of those surveyed wanting the ability to leave early on Fridays during the summer. And, I think what is very undervalued in a lot of places, Psyche, too, is employee morale. If an employer does, if you have somebody that's working hard for you, and you allow them to do this, I think they'll work even harder for you, and they will be more fresh and more, I don't know if the word, alert, but I mean, I think they're going to give you better productivity down the long haul. What do you think?
You got it. We've offered this to our employees, and they love it. We've offered jeans on Fridays, and now we're just like, hey, jeans all summer. This entire July, wear your jeans. Be comfortable. And they absolutely love it because we're looking at them more like an employee, like they have a personal side to them that we care about. They're not just a number punching a clock.
Psyche, I appreciate your time on this Friday. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
It's Friday, but we're working, but I hear more companies are getting 3-day weekends. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm well, thank you. They are giving 3-day weekends.
Well, we're even having a 3-day week, many of us, and I'm still thinking how wonderful a 4-day work week would be, like all the time. How does it work beneficially for not only the employee, but the employer?
Well, everybody's a little happier. Let's start there, right? Everyone is definitely much more energetic and excited to get to that 3-day weekend. So that means that they're probably working more. That's the goal, is they're working more, they're working harder. But honestly, we already are working more. We're already working harder. So it's really helping us on the Fridays kind of get our minds out of not being at work and to actually go do what it is we need to do so we come back on Monday refreshed and ready to go.
Does this help employers? Does this mean a reduction in pay or a reduction in any kind of bonuses or premiums that employers would be having to dole out otherwise?
Well, that's exactly it, right? So instead of saying, well, you've done great this week or you continue to be my best employee, let me, unfinancially wise, give you all of these extra things that I really can't afford as a business or a small business. I can afford this. I can afford a couple hours on a Friday, or I can afford a full Friday. So it's something that's already in the books, it's already expensed out. You know you're going to pay it. You're not having to kind of wedge out an extra amount of cash to take care of folks that are really performing well for you already.
We're talking to business and life coach Psyche Terry. I will say this, though, maybe it's something that's already happening, because I must tell you, if I get on the interstate on Friday about 3 o'clock, I feel like it's like rush hour traffic of like 5 o'clock. I think maybe some people are already leaving early. Maybe they just want to make it official.
Well, you're so right. I think the number's up from about 22% to 42% of companies that were in this interview that are actually doing it.
Wow.
Are realizing that this is what we want. We need it.
You know, might as well. I've worked at companies before where if the head of the company or one of the upper management goes, it's like the Buffalo mentality. It's like you wait about 7 or 8 minutes after you see their vehicle leave, and then everybody one by one starts sauntering out the door as if they're going to the bathroom, but they never come back.
But it's so true. I mean, but think about you guys, and I'm sure you can tell me it's so true that your day starts at crazy hours and it ends at crazy hours. So you're putting in that hard work, and you deserve a little extra time.
Karen does. I kind of dog it most days.
Well, I think everybody feels like they would like a few extra hours off, but sometimes in our business, in the radio business, Friday is typically the busiest day of the week, so that sometimes makes it harder to even attempt to get out of any place early. But I think for the bulk of workers, depending on what you do, if you don't have specific time constraints of being on the air, I think it's a great idea. I think it really does make you think a whole lot more of your employer as an employee. So maybe, like you say, that causes you to want to do more for your company.
Absolutely. It makes you happier. You're able to focus on what matters to you, which is you, and you're able to come back and just be a better employee. So you're more creative, you're giving more, you're doing more, and you're just more relaxed, and you're not, playing around on Amazon or Facebook where, you could actually just be out of the office and not taking up space.
Yeah, as a business and life coach, that you probably see this, and you can probably speak to this on a wider scale, but it sounds like companies are tapping into the employees want to, meaning they're going to get more productive than having to tap in there. You have to.
You got it. You absolutely have it. And a lot of this is from this new millennial standpoint, right? So we're hiring more millennials now. Millennials are looking at life a whole lot differently. They're looking to see initially, before they even sign up, what is your flex time? What are your Fridays like? They want the better. They want the better opportunities to work at better companies with better benefits, and it's just a lot different than back when my parents were working. They never wanted to take a day off. They never wanted to miss a day. Our interest is definitely different with millennials.
Yeah, I would think so with the changing times and now it seems like the open sign, at least when it comes to workers, rarely ever, that little neon sign that says open rarely ever gets turned off, because now that we're attached at the hip or the front pocket with our cell phones, it seems like the 3-day weekend, it seems like it's going to be a very, very desirable perk, and it sounds like the surveys are speaking to that. Psyche Terry, thank you so much for joining us on Memphis Morning News. We appreciate you having us and hope you have an enjoyable weekend.
Thank you. Same to you.
Thank you so much. Maybe her weekend will start at 2 or 3 o'clock today as well. That would be nice.
We got our guest is here.
Yeah, our guest is
perfect.
ready.
I'm glad I heard
Psyche
that
Terry.
one. Psyche Terry joins us right now, a business and life coach. And what we're wanting to talk about is the fact that more and more companies are giving their employees 3-day weekends. And first of all, why is that? Why have they decided to do that since the 5-day work week has been with us for so long?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, simply because it will help people enjoy working for that particular employer or that particular company. It's cheaper, and it's better for people to have an enjoyable workspace, an enjoyable working experience, so that they can come back on Monday and actually be in and be motivated and bring creative ideas and want to get the job done.
Isn't that what the weekends are for, though, Psyche? I mean, we have Saturday and Sunday for rest and relaxation.
Well, we do, but honestly, with the workforce now, they're already pretty much gone by at least 3 o'clock on Fridays. And I mean that mentally, maybe not physically, but they're on their phones, they're shopping, or they're even just in their heads, or they're kind of just walking through the motions or doing the motions, but not really invested because they put so much time in. And when I say time, I mean mornings, evenings, mentally and physically, where they're waking up early, checking their phone, because we can't be unattached from our cell phones.
What have the results of these tests shown, Psyche? I mean, companies have definitely experimented with this. What kind of results have they received?
Well, they're showing that people are more loyal and that they're more engaged and they're wanting to be there. They want to help you move the needle at the company. It's nothing like having a person that's just there to collect a check. We're employers ourselves, my husband and I, and we know the feeling of folks that are just there and then folks that are there.
And you said that the business will save money, but won't they lose money because of production for the day?
Well, I wouldn't say so. I'd say it's what we call on the economic end an opportunity cost. Do you waste the money by letting them leave but then earn more because they're going to come back more refreshed and more powered, or do you waste the money by keeping them and they're not moving the needle anyway? So the opportunity is, hey, I'd rather invest this cash in a waste, right? So we'll say they're both waste buckets. But one waste bucket is going to give me a better outcome than this waste bucket.
And someday they're all going to be replaced by robots. We were just talking about them earlier. And robots don't take days off.
And they don't require
robots
workman's
don't
comp.
Take days off. That's the thing.
No workman's comp, no vacations, no nothing.
So are we eventually moving toward 4-day work weeks?
Well, I think it's what we're calling summer July Fridays or summer Fridays or Fridays, and what we call it at our office, where we're letting folks wear jeans. You can dress more casually. You can, because it's hotter outside. You can feel it's just a personal perk. So you feel like someone cares about you in this office.
Well, I don't think that's going to happen to us. We're probably still going to have to work on Fridays. I'd rather have Mondays off anyway, but
I know they care when I receive my paycheck every 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely so. But anyway, Psyche Terry, business and life coach. What's your website?
PsycheTerry.com. I'll spell it for you. P as in Paul, SYCHE, Terry, TERRY.com.
All right, Psyche Terry, thanks for joining. Is that your real first name?
Yeah, that's my real first name. It means life and soul.
Ah, well, that's interesting. And your parents gave you that name?
They did. They gave me Psychelia, so they added LIA, and that actually means giver of life and soul.
Fascinating.
Cool.
Well, Psyche,
something?
thanks for being with us on AM Tampa Bay.
Thank you, Terry.
They're called Summer Fridays. More and more companies are giving their employees 3-day weekends over the next few months.
Sounds good to me.
Sounds delightful.
Joining us on the Kogo News Live line is business and life coach Psyche Terry. Good morning, Psyche.
Good morning.
So what is the theory behind Summer Fridays?
Well, the theory behind Summer Fridays is people are working their bottoms off every day, waking up early, going to bed late, and not taking lunches, not taking vacations. And they and me, we need vacation time. But if we can't get that, can we get a little bit of time on our Fridays to leave early and, drop off our dry cleaning or pick up our dry cleaning? It's an idea where we're saying, let's help folks be or feel better about life so that they can come back refreshed on Mondays.
Now, what are the pros and cons of this? Because I can see that, some businesses are probably going to say, hey, I'm sorry, I can't afford to do this.
Yeah. I feel like you can't not afford to do it after looking at the way folks are looking at the workforce talent now. They're saying, the talent is saying, we are looking for companies to work at that are going to add and give more perks or better perks. And that's going to keep us retained. That's going to keep our morale high. That's going to keep us wanting to perform well for you. And even in those times, I think even more of those same people are saying they're specifically looking for their Fridays to be modified. They're wanting this. So, you can't afford not to do it when it comes to employee retention and employee morale and productivity by far.
So in a survey of more than 200 employers, about 42% of them were offering Summer Fridays this year. Would most people rather have a bonus or a raise or some of that time off, these 3-day weekends?
Well, the difference is, I think it's the workforce. And now that more and more of the workforce is becoming more millennial, or more millennial type things are entering into the workforce, like cell phones, where, those didn't exist quite some time ago, where we were so attached and we were always working, always working. That behavior has really changed the way we interact in the workforce now. So, yeah, I think it's what's important for folks to understand is taking some time on Fridays or giving some time on Fridays is absolutely essential for a better, more productive work zone.
And also, are employees kind of checked out mentally on Fridays anyway?
I tease and say, I know they're on Facebook. I know they're shopping on Amazon, or mentally they're someplace else. And it's truly just because we're doing so much already. We're working so many hours every day. We're not pulled away from our phone. I think it's something like 55% of folks aren't taking their paid time off anyway because they're wanting to finish up their jobs, or they've got tasks that they've got to knock out at work. So, yeah, it's a matter of saying just give them this extra time that they're already tapped out on anyway.
Now, let's say, okay, you're running a business and you think, okay, I kind of like this idea of Fridays off, or at least partial Fridays off. So how do you budget for something like that? How do you pay for it?
Yep, so it's already expensed out. So my husband and I run our company, and we expense out, wages. So it's already something that we're planning for, and it's cheaper for us to do this than say, hey, Joe Blow's been doing great this year. Let's give him however X amount of bonus that we truly probably can't afford to budget in. But if I've already said that I know he's going to be here on Fridays, I've got to budget everybody here on Fridays. But what I can do is offer a little bit of time off or the full time off. I'm not truly losing an extra expense item.
All right, Psyche, thank you so much. That is business and life coach Psyche Terry joining us on the KOGO News Live Line.
Maybe you get Friday off to go and hang and, mess around. Think about that. You got a holiday week, or you got a Tuesday on national holiday, 4th of July. What if you work for a company that gives you that kind of Friday flexibility as well? Is that something that you experience? More workplaces do it now than ever before. We have a slightly here at McDonald Broadcasting. Things shut down a little bit early on summer Fridays. But not everybody does this. What should they do? Is this a feasible way for companies to raise morale, or does it just knock off production? Let's talk about it this morning with a businesswoman here, life coach, someone who's got employees working for and has worked for others herself. Psyche Terry on the other end of our line. Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, I'm sitting in both seats here today.
Yeah, we're in both seats, right? Employee and employer. Well, these the shorter work week, summer Fridays, are getting more popular. I just wonder, does it increase productivity? Does it not? And even if it didn't, even if it was a status quo, it might be a culture gain for morale.
Yep, you got it. That's exactly what I think is 2 words, and that's employee morale. It definitely raises morale. It raises people feeling like they're not a number. They're actually a human at this place, and their contribution counts. And it also raises people feeling like they're not a number. They're actually a human at this place, and their contribution counts. And it also raises people feeling like they're not a number. They're actually a human at this place, and their contribution counts. And it also raises people feeling like they're not a number. They're actually a human at this place, and their contribution counts. and we care that they come in right and ready to go, and that they're not sitting on the clock, and sometimes I say on my clock, playing on Facebook or shopping on Amazon. They can do that on their own time and come to me with the right mind ready to get to work.
I always thought, I'm going to give myself at least partial. I didn't invent the idea, but when I ran a sports department at a television station with more than a couple staffers and people, and there were interns too, that we had kind of flexible. My hours on air, when you're doing the show, weren't flexible. You had a lot of deadlines, but the other schedules were kind of flexible. And there was a time when we were just grinding it. And then when I knew it was lighter, it's just go do your thing. You don't have to be around. Don't feel like you have to sit here and clock watch. Is that now become? I think it has become more the norm.
It is, and it's because I think it's some number like 55% of Americans aren't taking their PTO anyway. They're not taking time off. They're working super hard. They're waking up early. They're going to bed late, checking their phones. They're taking their phones to the bathroom. They just don't want to miss a minute. They want to stay connected and be on top of whatever deadlines they have to be. And so I think that, hey, if we've got folks that are operating this way, we should be responsive to them, and it's very affordable to do it. Take some time, give them the time that they deserve, and shoot, the employer needs to take the time as well so they can, too, come back and be refreshed.
Well, you make a good point there. Plus, the thing about the phone in the bathroom, there's no more newspaper in the bathroom or, Newsweek magazine or any of those are gone. So now if you don't take it, what do you do? I'm just saying it's a whole new world out there, not necessarily an improvement overall. But do you do the same thing? Do you tell your employees Friday's going to be chill during the summertime? Or is it all dependent on what projects you have going?
No, we say Summer Fridays. So we started it a couple weeks ago for July, and we tell them, hey, come in with jeans on, come in comfortable and casual. It's not going to interrupt our work week at all. It's not going to increase our customer base or decrease our customer base. What it's going to do is help them feel better about what they're doing. So, yeah, we do it. We actually on Fridays, we say, here's a couple hours where we're going to take time to increase employee morale with trainings and fun times.
Yeah.
And then we say, okay, you can cut out a couple hours.
Well,
early.
And the casual Fridays have been around, too, as far as dress for a while. But, even if you do it here to the point where you're allowing people, if they can transition a bit from the work week to the weekend and truly relax so that they don't just have an abrupt, boom. It's abrupt, and it starts on Monday abruptly, boom. Those kind of hit you like a sledgehammer. If you transition it, it becomes more the rhythm. I think that could increase productivity. That's just I'm guessing. I'm throwing a dart, but I think it could.
Nice, gotcha.
Yeah, no, it does make sense. Anything like you said, this day and age, if you're an employer, you're looking for talent, and mainly you're looking to retain. You're gonna find it out there. I know you will, but the problem is, can you retain it? If you can retain that talent, that's a big job for an employer, for anyone who quote unquote is a boss these days.
You got it. It's so true. And now that we're having to hire more millennials are looking at the workforce so much differently than my folks and my folks. They're wanting to know that they can make a contribution. They're wanting to know that they can come to a place that wants them there, that's going to take care of them when they get there. And they're looking at that, honestly, more than they're looking at how much we're paying them.
Well, and certainly that has just spun upside down from a generation ago. A generation ago would have been about, where's my compensation bottom line? Do the figures jibe? Well, we're going to expect to be working 25 hours a day, 8 days a week. Doesn't matter. I can do that. What are my numbers? Now they want some balance, don't they? Yeah, makes sense.
You want to be balanced.
Yeah, makes sense overall. Yep, Psyche Terry here, our guest this morning, business and life coach. So where can we find you, Psyche, online?
I'm at PsycheTerry.com. I'll spell it for you, PSYCHE, Terry.com.
And TERRY with the first name. I bet
it.
You've had more than one person say with that first name. Can you spell that for me? That's happened. It never ends.
Yeah,
it never
but
ends.
I just say, hey, it's like psychology, like your mind, your Psyche, and I just so happen to be a life and business coach.
Makes sense overall. Psyche's here. Appreciate you joining us today. Have a great one on your Summer Friday.
Thank you.